Hello there, my dear friend. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Right now, in this very moment, you've made a beautiful choice to open your heart to something new, something that can truly transform the way you think and feel about money and abundance. I want you to know that wherever you are in your life, whatever financial situation you're facing, you are exactly where you need to be for your next step forward. Maybe you've been struggling with bills that seem to pile up faster than you can pay them. Perhaps you lie awake at night worrying about how you'll make ends meet. Or maybe you've been carrying the heavy weight of believing that money is somehow bad, or that wanting more makes you greedy or selfish. Or maybe you've been told so many times that money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to work hard for every penny, that there's never enough to go around. These thoughts and feelings are so common, and if they're living in your heart right now, I want you to know that you're not alone, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. What I've learned over all these years is that our relationship with money is really our relationship with ourselves. It's about how worthy we believe we are, how deserving we feel, and how much love we're willing to accept into our lives. You see, abundance isn't just about the numbers in your bank account. Abundance is a way of being, a way of thinking, a way of opening yourself up to receive all the good that life wants to give you. I know it might feel hard to believe right now, especially if you've been struggling financially. When we're worried about money, when we're stressed about paying bills or providing for our families, it can feel almost impossible to think about abundance. But here's what I want you to understand. Your current financial situation is not a reflection of your worth as a human being. It's simply a reflection of the thoughts and beliefs you've been carrying, many of which aren't even yours to begin with. The beautiful truth is that you have within you right now everything you need to begin changing your relationship with money. You don't need to wait until you have more education or more experience or until someone else gives you permission. You don't need to wait until you're older or younger or different in any way. You can begin right here, right now, with the simple act of speaking loving words to yourself about money and abundance. These 5 minutes we're going to spend together aren't just about saying pretty words. They're about planting new seeds in the garden of your mind. Every time you speak a loving affirmation about money, every time you choose a thought of abundance over a thought of lack, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're creating new pathways that will lead you toward the prosperity that is your birthright. Now, I want to talk with you about something that might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but it's so important for your healing and growth. Let's look gently at your relationship with money. Not to judge it or criticize it, but to understand it with love and compassion. Most of us learned about money when we were very young children. We absorbed beliefs about money from our families, our communities, our cultures, often before we even knew we were learning. Maybe you heard things like, money doesn't buy happiness, or rich people are greedy, or we can't afford that, or money is the root of all evil. Perhaps you watched your parents fight about money, or saw them stress and worry when bills arrived in the mail. These early experiences planted seeds in your young mind, and those seeds grew into beliefs that you've been carrying around ever since. But here's the wonderful thing. Just because you learned these beliefs doesn't mean they're true, and it certainly doesn't mean you have to keep them forever. Think about a garden for a moment. If you plant seeds of worry and fear, you'll grow worry and fear. If you plant seeds of lack and limitation, that's what will bloom in your life. But if you plant seeds of abundance and prosperity, if you tend them with love and care, they'll grow into a beautiful harvest of good things flowing into your life. Maybe you learned that you have to struggle for money, that it's hard to come by, that you have to work yourself to exhaustion to deserve it. Maybe you learned that money changes people, that having more than others makes you bad or selfish. Or maybe you learned that there's never enough, that you have to hold tight to what you have because it might disappear. These beliefs feel so real because you've been practicing them for so long, but they're not facts about money. They're just thoughts that have been repeated so many times they feel like truth. And the beautiful news is that any thought can be changed. Any belief that isn't serving you can be replaced with one that does. When we carry beliefs about not being worthy of money, or that money is bad, or that there's not enough to go around, we actually push abundance away from us. It's like holding up a big stop sign to the universe and saying, "No, thank you, I don't deserve good things." But that's not who you really are. You are a beautiful expression of life itself, and life wants to give you everything you need to thrive and flourish. Your body holds these beliefs about money too. When you think about your bills, when you worry about not having enough, when you stress about your financial future, your body responds. Your shoulders might tense up, your stomach might tighten, your breathing might become shallow, you might feel anxious or scared or overwhelmed. This is your body trying to protect you, but it's also creating a state where abundance can't easily flow to you. When we're in a state of fear or worry about money, our whole system contracts. We become focused on what we don't have, what might go wrong, what we're lacking. This contraction makes it very difficult to see opportunities, to take inspired action, or to receive the good that's trying to come to us. But when we shift our thoughts about money, when we begin to think thoughts of abundance and prosperity, something magical happens in our bodies. Our breathing deepens, our muscles relax, our hearts open. We move from contraction to expansion, from fear to love, from lack to abundance. In this expanded state, we become magnetic to good things. We start to notice opportunities we couldn't see before. We feel inspired to take action that moves us forward. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a real financial emergency and the story you tell yourself about money. If you're constantly thinking thoughts of lack and fear, your body stays in a state of stress, even when you're physically safe. This stress blocks your creativity, clouds your judgment, and makes it much harder to make good decisions about money. But when you practice thinking abundant thoughts, when you speak words of prosperity and appreciation, your nervous system relaxes. Your body remembers that you are safe, that you are provided for, that there is enough. From this place of peace and trust, you can think more clearly, act more wisely, and attract more abundance into your life. This is why the work we're doing together is so powerful. We're not just changing your thoughts about money, we're changing the way your entire being relates to abundance. We're creating a new foundation, a new way of being that naturally attracts prosperity and good fortune into your life. Now let's talk about something that might feel a little tender, but it's so important for your healing journey. It's time to gently release those old patterns around money that have been weighing you down. This isn't about beating yourself up for past financial decisions or blaming anyone for what you learned about money. This is about freeing yourself with love and compassion so that abundance can flow more easily into your life. Maybe you're carrying guilt about a financial mistake you made in the past. Perhaps you invested in something that didn't work out, or you spent money you didn't have, or you made a choice that led to financial difficulty. I want you to know that these experiences don't define you. They were simply learning opportunities, and you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools we have for releasing old money patterns. When we hold on to guilt, shame, or anger about past financial decisions, we keep ourselves stuck in those old energies. But when we forgive ourselves and others, we create space for something new and beautiful to emerge. Start by forgiving yourself for any financial mistakes you believe you've made. Place your hand on your heart and speak gently to yourself. I forgive myself for any financial decisions that didn't serve me. I was doing the best I could with what I knew then. I am learning and growing every day. Feel the relief that comes with letting go of that heavy burden you've been carrying. Then, extend that forgiveness to your family. Maybe your parents or grandparents passed down beliefs about money that have limited you. Maybe they were fearful about money because of their own experiences with poverty or loss. They weren't trying to hurt you. They were trying to protect you with what they knew. But their protection might have become your prison. You can love your family and still choose different beliefs about money. You can honor their experiences while creating your own relationship with abundance. Say to them in your heart, I love you and I forgive you. You did the best you could. Now I choose to create my own beliefs about money and abundance. Sometimes we carry money fears that don't even belong to us. We might be holding on to the financial trauma of our ancestors, the Depression-era fears of our grandparents, or the scarcity beliefs of our culture. These inherited patterns can feel so real, so much a part of us, but they're not ours to carry. Take a moment to imagine all those old family money fears as heavy stones you've been carrying in a backpack. One by one, gently take them out and set them down. You can say, these fears are not mine to carry. I release them with love and choose to create my own abundant reality. Feel how much lighter you become as you set down burdens that were never yours to begin with. Self-compassion is the fertile soil in which new abundance patterns can grow. When we're harsh with ourselves about money, when we criticize ourselves for not having more or for making mistakes, we create inner conflict that blocks prosperity. But when we treat ourselves with the same kindness we'd show a dear friend, we create the perfect conditions for financial growth and healing. Notice how you talk to yourself about money. Do you call yourself stupid for financial mistakes? Do you tell yourself you'll never have enough? Do you criticize yourself for wanting more? These harsh inner voices need to be replaced with gentle, loving ones. Begin speaking to yourself about money the way a loving parent would speak to a precious child. You're learning and growing. You deserve good things. You're worthy of abundance. You're doing better than you think. This self-compassion isn't just feel-good talk. It's creating the emotional safety your nervous system needs to allow abundance into your life. When you feel emotionally safe around money, when you trust yourself to make good decisions and handle whatever comes your way, you naturally begin to attract more prosperity. Your energy shifts from desperate and grabbing to confident and magnetic. You start making decisions from love instead of fear, and those decisions lead to much better outcomes. Creating this emotional safety takes time and practice. Be patient with yourself as you learn to release old patterns. Some days will feel easier than others, and that's perfectly natural. What matters is that you keep choosing love over fear, forgiveness over blame, and hope over despair. Let's move into the heart of our practice together, the beautiful, transformative power of prosperity affirmations. These aren't just positive thoughts or wishful thinking. These are powerful statements that, when practiced consistently with feeling and intention, actually rewire your brain and shift your entire relationship with money and abundance. Your 5-minute daily affirmation practice is like taking a vitamin for your prosperity consciousness. Just as you might take physical vitamins to support your body's health, these affirmations support the health of your money mindset. They feed your mind with thoughts of abundance, worthiness, and possibility. The key to making affirmations work is not just saying the words, but feeling them in your body and speaking them with conviction. When you say, I am worthy of abundance, don't just recite it like you're reading a grocery list. Feel what it would be like to truly believe that you deserve good things. Let that feeling fill your chest, expand your heart, and radiate through your entire being. Here are some of the most powerful prosperity affirmations you can practice. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. I am a magnet for abundance. I deserve to be financially free. There is more than enough for everyone, including me. I make decisions about money from love, not fear. My income is constantly increasing. I am grateful for all the abundance in my life. When you first begin practicing these affirmations, your mind might resist them. That old programming might say, "That's not true. You don't have money flowing easily. You're struggling." When this happens, don't fight with those thoughts. Simply acknowledge them gently and then return to your affirmations. You might say, "I hear you, old thoughts, but I'm choosing to think differently now." The resistance you feel is actually a good sign. It means you're touching the old beliefs that need to be changed. It's like cleaning out a closet. At first, everything looks messier as you pull things out, but eventually, you create a beautiful, organized space. Your mind is going through the same process. Consistency is more powerful than intensity when it comes to affirmations. It's better to spend 5 minutes every day speaking these loving words to yourself than to do an hour-long session once a week. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition, and daily practice creates lasting change more effectively than occasional intense efforts. Choose a time each day when you can be consistent with your affirmations. Maybe it's first thing in the morning before you get out of bed, or perhaps while you're getting ready for your day. Some people love to practice affirmations during their commute or while taking a walk. Find what works for you and stick with it. Remember that affirmations work best when you're in a state of appreciation and openness. Before you begin your practice, take a few deep breaths and think of something you're grateful for. This shifts your energy into a receptive state where the affirmations can really take root in your consciousness. Be patient with the process. You didn't develop your current money beliefs overnight, and they won't change overnight either. But with consistent, loving practice, you will begin to notice shifts in how you think and feel about money. You might find yourself feeling more hopeful, more confident, more open to possibilities. These are all signs that your prosperity consciousness is expanding. Now, let's explore one of the most powerful practices you can do to accelerate your abundance transformation: mirror work. This might feel a little uncomfortable at first, and that's perfectly normal. But I promise you, speaking your prosperity affirmations while looking into your own eyes is one of the fastest ways to create deep, lasting change in your relationship with money. There's something magical that happens when you look into your own eyes and speak words of love and abundance. You bypass all the mental chatter and speak directly to your soul. You make a commitment not just in your mind, but with your whole being. You begin to believe these truths about yourself at the deepest level. Find a mirror where you can comfortably see your face. It doesn't have to be a big mirror. Even a small hand mirror will work beautifully. Look into your own eyes with the same love and tenderness you'd show to a precious child. At first, you might feel silly or uncomfortable. You might want to look away or laugh. These are normal reactions, and they'll pass as you practice. Begin with simple statements. Hello, beautiful. I love you. You deserve good things. Notice what comes up for you when you say these words. Do you believe them? Do you feel resistance? Whatever you feel is perfect. There's no right or wrong way to do this practice. When you're ready, begin speaking your prosperity affirmations to your reflection. You are worthy of abundance. Money flows to you easily. You deserve to be financially free. Say each affirmation slowly with feeling while maintaining eye contact with yourself. If emotions come up, and they often do during mirror work, let them flow. Tears are often a sign of healing and release. Many people discover that they have a hard time saying loving things about money to themselves. This resistance shows you exactly where your healing work needs to focus. If you can't tell yourself that you deserve abundance while looking in your own eyes, how can you expect the universe to believe it? Start small if you need to. Maybe you begin with, I am open to receiving more good things in my life, or I am learning to love and value myself. As you become more comfortable with mirror work, you can move into more powerful affirmations about money and prosperity. Some days your mirror work will feel amazing, and other days it might feel challenging. Both experiences are valuable. When it feels good, you're reinforcing positive beliefs about yourself and money. When it feels difficult, you're uncovering beliefs that need healing. Either way, you're making progress. Practice your mirror work for just a few minutes each day. You might do it as part of your morning routine while you're getting ready, or perhaps in the evening before bed. The key is consistency, not duration. Even 2 or 3 minutes of heartfelt mirror work daily will create profound changes over time. As you continue this practice, you'll begin to notice that you naturally start treating yourself with more kindness and respect. You'll find it easier to make financial decisions that honor your worth. You'll become more comfortable receiving compliments, opportunities, and yes, money. You're literally loving yourself into a state of greater abundance. There's one practice that can transform your entire relationship with abundance faster than almost anything else, and it's something you can begin right this very moment. It's the beautiful practice of gratitude. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you when something good happens. It's about recognizing and appreciating all the abundance that's already flowing in your life, even when it doesn't look like what you expected. You see, gratitude is like a magnet for more good things. When you focus on what you're grateful for, when you really feel appreciation in your heart, you're sending out a signal to the universe that says, more of this, please. You're aligning yourself with the energy of receiving, and the universe loves to give to those who appreciate what they already have. Right now, even if money feels tight, even if you're worried about your financial future, there is abundance all around you. Maybe it's the roof over your head tonight, or the fact that you have clean water to drink. Maybe it's the love of a friend, the warmth of sunshine on your face, or the simple miracle of your heart beating without you having to think about it. These are all forms of abundance, and when we acknowledge them, we open ourselves up to receive even more. Start each day by finding 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things or expensive things. Maybe you're grateful for your morning coffee, for a phone call from someone you love, or for the fact that your body carried you through another day. As you practice this daily gratitude, you'll begin to notice more and more good things in your life. What we focus on expands, and gratitude expands our awareness of all the blessings surrounding us. When it comes to money specifically, look for ways to appreciate what you do have rather than focusing on what you lack. Maybe you're grateful that you had enough money for lunch today, or that you were able to pay a bill, or that someone treated you to something nice. Maybe you're grateful for your ability to earn money, for your skills and talents, or for the fact that money exists as a tool to make life easier. Even when you're paying bills, you can transform that experience through gratitude. Instead of feeling resentful when you write a check for rent, you can feel grateful for the home that money provides. When you pay your electric bill, you can appreciate the lights and appliances that make your life comfortable. This shift in perspective changes everything. You're no longer a victim of your bills. You're a grateful participant in an exchange of energy. Gratitude also helps you recognize abundance in forms you might not have noticed before. Maybe someone offers to buy you lunch, or you find a $20 bill in an old jacket pocket, or you receive an unexpected refund. These are all signs that abundance is flowing to you, even if it's not in the exact way you expected. When you notice and appreciate these gifts, you invite more of them into your life. Create little gratitude moments throughout your day. When you find a good parking spot, say, "Thank you." When someone smiles at you, feel grateful for that connection. When you have enough food for dinner, acknowledge that abundance. These small moments of appreciation add up to create a completely different relationship with life and money. Keep a gratitude journal specifically for abundance. Each evening, write down at least 3 things you're grateful for that relate to money or abundance. Maybe you're grateful for a compliment you received, for work that provides income, for a friend who shared something with you, or for your ability to be generous with others. As you fill page after page with appreciation, you're literally rewiring your brain to notice abundance everywhere. Now, as your relationship with money begins to shift through affirmations, forgiveness, and gratitude, it's time to talk about taking action in the world. But this isn't about forcing or pushing or struggling to make things happen. This is about learning to take inspired action from a place of love and trust rather than fear and desperation. When we act from fear around money, we make decisions that often don't serve us. We might take a job we hate because we're desperate for income. We might make poor investment choices because we're afraid of missing out. We might spend money we don't have because we're trying to fill an emotional void. These fear-based actions usually lead to more problems and more fear. But when we act from love and trust, when we make financial decisions from a centered, abundant place, everything changes. We choose opportunities that align with our values and our growth. We invest in ourselves and our future. We spend money consciously and joyfully. We create and contribute from our hearts rather than just trying to get what we can. The key is learning to distinguish between fear-based impulses and love-based inspiration. Fear-based action feels urgent, desperate, and contracted. You feel like you have to do something right now or something terrible will happen. Your body feels tense, your breathing is shallow, and you can't think clearly. Love-based action feels expansive, exciting, and aligned. You feel drawn towards something because it feels right and good. Your body feels relaxed and energized at the same time. You can breathe deeply and think clearly. You feel confident and capable. Before making any financial decision, take a moment to check in with yourself. Are you acting from fear or from love? Are you trying to avoid something bad or move towards something good? Are you contracting or expanding? These simple questions can help you make much better choices about money. Trust your inner wisdom when it comes to financial decisions. You have an inner guidance system that knows what's right for you. When you quiet your mind, breathe deeply, and listen to your heart, you'll receive guidance about which opportunities to pursue, which investments to make, which jobs to take. This inner wisdom is always available to you, and it's much more reliable than following what everyone else is doing or what seems like the safe choice. Sometimes taking inspired action means saying no to opportunities that don't feel right, even if they seem good on paper. Sometimes it means investing in yourself or your education even when money is tight. Sometimes it means starting a business or changing careers or moving to a new place. Trust yourself to know what's right for you. Action from love also includes being generous and kind with money when you feel moved to do so. This doesn't mean giving away money you need for essentials, but it does mean staying open to opportunities to share your abundance with others. When you tip generously, donate to causes you care about, or help someone in need, you're affirming that there's enough money to go around and that you're part of the flow of abundance. As you begin to transform your relationship with money, you need to be prepared for the fact that growth isn't always a smooth, upward path. Sometimes old fears will resurface. Sometimes you'll have setbacks that challenge your new beliefs about abundance. This is completely normal and natural. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or that the work isn't effective. Think of your abundance journey like learning to ride a bicycle. At first, you wobble and maybe fall down a few times. That doesn't mean you're not learning. It means you're in the process of developing a new skill. Each time you get back on the bike, you're a little more steady, a little more confident. Eventually, riding becomes natural and effortless. When old money fears come up, when you find yourself worrying about bills or feeling anxious about your financial future, treat yourself with compassion. Don't judge yourself for having these feelings or tell yourself you should be past this by now. Instead, acknowledge that this is part of the healing process. You might say to yourself, "Oh, there's that old fear again. I understand why it's here. It's trying to protect me, but I don't need this protection anymore. I'm safe, and I'm learning new ways to think about money." Then gently return to your affirmations, your gratitude practice, or whatever tool feels most supportive in that moment. Sometimes setbacks come in the form of actual financial challenges, an unexpected bill, a job loss, a medical expense. When these things happen, it's easy to think that your abundance work isn't working or that you've done something wrong. But these challenges aren't signs of failure. They're opportunities to practice your new tools and beliefs under pressure. During difficult financial times, return to your foundations. Keep up with your affirmations, even if they feel harder to believe. Continue your gratitude practice, looking for any small thing you can appreciate. Trust that this challenge is temporary and that it's actually strengthening your abundance muscles. Use setbacks as information about where you might need to do more healing work. Maybe a financial crisis brings up childhood fears about not having enough. Maybe a job loss triggers beliefs about not being good enough. These are gifts of awareness, showing you exactly where to focus your healing energy next. Remember that every successful person has faced financial challenges. What makes the difference is how you respond to those challenges. Do you use them as proof that life is hard and money is scarce? Or do you use them as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate? The choice is always yours. Stay connected to your support system during challenging times. Reach out to friends who believe in abundance. Read books or listen to recordings that reinforce positive beliefs about money. Surround yourself with people and resources that remind you of your worthiness and capability. Most importantly, never give up on yourself. You are so much more resilient and resourceful than you know. Every challenge you've faced has made you stronger. Every setback has taught you something valuable. You have everything within you right now to create the abundant life you desire. As we come to the close of our time together, I want you to know that today marks a beautiful new beginning in your relationship with money and abundance. You've taken a courageous step by opening your heart to new possibilities, by being willing to examine old beliefs and plant new seeds of prosperity in your mind. The work you're doing isn't just about having more money, though that may certainly be one of the beautiful results. You're learning to love and value yourself more deeply. You're discovering that you're worthy of all good things simply because you exist. You're remembering that abundance is your natural state and that prosperity flows easily when you're aligned with love rather than fear. Change takes time, dear one, and healing happens in layers. Be patient and gentle with yourself as you continue this journey. Some days you'll feel excited and confident about your financial future. Other days might feel more challenging as old patterns surface to be healed. Both types of days are part of your growth and both are valuable. Remember that every time you choose an abundant thought over a lacking thought, every time you speak lovingly to yourself about money, every time you act from love instead of fear, you're creating positive change. These small daily choices add up to transform your entire life experience. Your prosperity consciousness is like a garden that you're tending with love and care. You've planted beautiful seeds of abundance, forgiveness, gratitude, and self-love. Now trust the process as those seeds take root and begin to grow. Water them daily with your affirmations and kind self-talk. Give them sunlight through your gratitude and appreciation. Soon you'll see the first green shoots of new abundance sprouting in your life. You are so much more powerful than you realize. You have the ability to create positive change in your life through the thoughts you think and the words you speak. You are worthy of prosperity, deserving of abundance, and capable of creating a life that feels rich in every way that matters to you. I believe in you completely. I believe in your ability to heal old wounds around money. I believe in your capacity to create new patterns of abundance. I believe that you deserve all the good things life has to offer. Most importantly, I believe that as you continue this beautiful work of loving yourself and changing your relationship with money, you'll discover that you believed in yourself all along. The universe is conspiring to help you succeed. Life wants to give you everything you need to thrive. Your job is simply to keep your heart open, to practice these tools with consistency and love, and to trust that your abundance is already on its way to you. Take a deep breath and feel the excitement of all the possibilities ahead of you. Your journey with money and abundance has just begun, and it's going to be beautiful. You are ready. You are worthy. You are enough. And prosperity is your birthright. From my heart to yours, I send you all my love and my absolute belief in your success. Go forth and create the abundant, joyful life you came here to live. You deserve nothing less than everything wonderful. Hello, beautiful soul. I'm so grateful you're here with me today. There's something so precious about this moment we're sharing together, and I want you to know that your presence here tells me something wonderful about you. It tells me that you have the courage to look at what might be hurting inside, and that takes tremendous strength. You see, guilt is one of those feelings that can make us feel so alone, so heavy, as if we're carrying something that's too big for our hearts to hold. But you're not alone in this. Not today, not ever. When we talk about guilt, we're really talking about one of the most human experiences there is. Every person who has ever walked this earth has felt the weight of guilt at some point. It's that feeling that seems to wrap itself around our hearts and whisper things like, you should have known better, or you're a bad person for thinking that way, or everyone else has it figured out, but you keep making mistakes. These whispers can become so familiar that we start to believe they're telling us the truth about who we are. I want you to take a gentle breath with me right now. Just breathe in slowly, and as you breathe out, let your shoulders soften just a little. Good. Because what we're about to explore together isn't about adding more judgment to your life. It's about creating space for something much more beautiful. Love, understanding, and freedom from the chains that guilt can wrap around our hearts. You know, guilt has this interesting way of making us believe that if we just feel bad enough about something, somehow that makes it better. As if our suffering could somehow undo what happened or prove that we're good people who just made a mistake. But here's what I've learned through my own journey and through working with thousands of beautiful souls like yourself. Guilt doesn't heal anything. Love does. Compassion does. Understanding does. The fact that you're here, willing to look at these feelings, tells me that somewhere deep inside you, there's a part of you that knows you deserve to feel free. There's a part of you that's tired of carrying this weight and ready to discover what it feels like to move through the world with a heart that's light and open. That part of you, that wise, loving part, that's the truth of who you are. Sometimes people ask me why we hold on to guilt if it hurts so much, and the answer is both simple and complex. We hold on to it because, in a strange way, it can feel safer than letting it go. Guilt can feel like proof that we care, that we're good people who feel bad when we've done something wrong. It can feel like protection against making the same mistake again. But what guilt really does is keep us stuck in the past, reliving moments that are already gone, punishing ourselves for being human. Today, we're going to explore a different way. We're going to look at guilt not as a monster to fight or a burden to carry, but as a teacher that has something to show us about love, about healing, and about coming home to ourselves. Because that's what this is really about, coming home to the truth of who you are beneath all the stories, beneath all the should-haves and could-haves, beneath all the ways you've learned to be hard on yourself. As we begin this journey together, I want you to know that healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small moments of kindness toward yourself. It happens when you choose to speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love dearly. It happens when you realize that being human means making mistakes, and making mistakes doesn't make you a mistake. Your heart is so much wiser than the voice of guilt. Your heart knows that you are worthy of love, worthy of forgiveness, worthy of peace. And today, we're going to help that wise part of you grow a little stronger, a little louder, until it drowns out the old voices that have been telling you otherwise. Now, let's take a moment to understand where guilt really comes from, because understanding is the first step toward freedom. Guilt isn't something we're born with. If you watch a small child, you'll notice they move through the world with such natural freedom, such ease. When they make a mess, they don't sit in shame about it. They either clean it up or move on to the next adventure. Guilt is something we learn. Most of us learned about guilt very early in life. Perhaps we learned it from well-meaning parents or teachers who thought that making us feel bad about our behavior would help us become better people. Perhaps we learned it from religious teachings that emphasized sin and punishment rather than love and growth. Perhaps we absorbed it from a culture that tells us we should always be doing more, being better, achieving higher. These early experiences create what I like to think of as guilt patterns in our minds. Just like a record that gets played over and over, these patterns become so familiar that we don't even notice them anymore. They become the background music of our lives, constantly telling us that we're not enough, that we should feel bad about this or that we need to earn our worth through perfect behavior. But here's something beautiful to consider. If guilt is learned, then it can be unlearned. If it's a pattern, then new patterns can be created. This isn't about denying responsibility for our actions or becoming careless about how we affect others. This is about learning the difference between healthy responsibility and toxic guilt. Healthy responsibility says, I made a mistake, I can learn from this, and I can make amends if needed. It's clean, it's honest, and it moves us forward. Toxic guilt says, I am a mistake, I'm a terrible person, and I don't deserve good things. It's messy, it's dishonest about our true nature, and it keeps us stuck. When guilt lives in our bodies, it creates a heaviness that affects everything. It can manifest as tension in our shoulders, as if we're literally carrying the weight of the world. It can show up as tightness in our chest, making it hard to breathe deeply and fully. It can settle in our stomachs, creating that churning feeling that never quite goes away. Our bodies are so wise. They're always trying to tell us what our hearts need. Guilt also affects our energy in profound ways. When we're carrying guilt, we often feel drained, exhausted, as if life is harder than it needs to be. That's because guilt is like a leak in our energy system. Instead of our life force flowing freely, it gets diverted into regret, self-punishment, and endless mental loops about what we should have done differently. The beautiful truth is that our bodies want to heal, our hearts want to be free, and our spirits want to soar. When we begin to release guilt, we often find that physical symptoms we've carried for years begin to ease. We sleep better, we breathe deeper, we feel lighter. This isn't magic. It's the natural result of no longer fighting against ourselves. Think about how you learned to walk as a child. You didn't guilt yourself for falling down. You simply got back up and tried again. You were curious, persistent, and gentle with yourself in the learning process. Somehow, as we grew older, we learned to be harsh critics instead of loving companions to ourselves. But it's never too late to return to that natural state of self-compassion. The stories we tell ourselves about guilt are often so automatic that we don't realize we're telling them. These stories usually begin with phrases like, "I always," or "I never," or "I should have." They're the narratives that play in our minds, often without our conscious awareness, shaping how we see ourselves and our experiences. One of the most common guilt stories goes something like this: "I hurt someone I love, which proves I'm a selfish person who doesn't deserve to be happy." Another might sound like, "I made a mistake at work, which shows everyone that I'm incompetent and don't belong here." Or perhaps, "I wasn't there when someone needed me, which means I'm a terrible friend who can't be counted on." Do any of these sound familiar? These stories feel so real when we're inside them. They feel like facts about who we are rather than interpretations of what happened. But stories are just that, stories. They're not truth, they're not destiny, and they can be changed. What's fascinating about these guilt stories is how they often take a single moment or action and expand it to define our entire character. It's as if our minds have this tendency to make sweeping generalizations based on limited information. One mistake becomes evidence that we're fundamentally flawed. One poor choice becomes proof that we can't be trusted. One moment of selfishness becomes confirmation that we're bad people. But this kind of thinking doesn't match reality. Reality is much more nuanced, much more forgiving, much more spacious than our guilt stories would have us believe. Reality recognizes that humans are complex beings, capable of both kindness and selfishness, wisdom and foolishness, love and fear, often in the same day, sometimes in the same moment. These guilt stories often have their roots in our earliest experiences. Perhaps we heard messages like, "Good children don't get angry," or "You should always put others first," or "Mistakes are unacceptable." These messages, even when delivered with love, can create internal scripts that we carry for decades without questioning. Sometimes our guilt stories are influenced by traumatic experiences where we genuinely were harmed, but our young minds couldn't understand that it wasn't our fault. Children have this natural tendency to blame themselves when bad things happen, thinking, "If only I had been better, this wouldn't have happened." These early conclusions can create profound guilt patterns that affect us well into adulthood. Other times, our guilt stories develop as coping mechanisms. If we can just be perfect, we think, then we'll be safe from criticism, rejection, or abandonment. Guilt becomes a way of trying to control outcomes, as if feeling bad enough about our imperfections could somehow prevent future problems. But what if there was another way to understand your experiences? What if the things you feel guilty about aren't evidence of your badness, but rather signs of your humanity? What if your sensitivity to guilt actually points to something beautiful about you, that you care deeply, that you want to do right by others, that you have a conscience that guides you toward love? When we begin to see our guilt patterns clearly, without judgment, something shifts. We start to recognize these old stories as outdated programming rather than current truth. We begin to understand that the voice telling us we're terrible is not the voice of wisdom. It's the voice of old pain, old fear, old misunderstanding. This recognition is the beginning of freedom. Not because we suddenly stop feeling guilty, but because we stop believing that our guilt feelings are telling us the truth about who we are. We start to see them as old habits of thinking rather than reliable sources of information about our worth. Your body is incredibly intelligent, and it's always communicating with you about what's happening in your inner world. When guilt takes up residence in your heart and mind, your beautiful body responds in ways that are trying to get your attention, trying to help you understand that something needs healing. Learning to listen to these body messages with compassion can be one of your greatest tools for transformation. Guilt often settles into our bodies like an unwelcome guest who's forgotten how to leave. It might show up as a tight knot in your chest that makes it hard to take deep, nourishing breaths. This tightness is your body's way of protecting your heart, creating armor around the very place that needs the most love. When we feel guilty, our bodies often contract, as if making ourselves smaller could somehow reduce the impact of our perceived wrongdoing. Many people carry guilt in their shoulders and neck, creating tension that can lead to headaches, stiffness, and chronic pain. It's as if the body is literally trying to carry the weight of all those should-haves and regrets. Your shoulders weren't designed to hold the entire history of your mistakes. They were designed to help you embrace life, to reach out for what you want, to carry only what serves your highest good. Guilt also has a profound effect on our digestive system. That churning, unsettled feeling in your stomach when you think about something you feel guilty about isn't just emotional. It's your body responding to stress chemicals that guilt triggers. Your gut, which many cultures recognize as a center of wisdom, becomes disturbed when you're at war with yourself. Chronic guilt can contribute to digestive issues, stomach problems, and that general sense of unease that makes it hard to feel truly nourished by life. The nervous system, too, bears the burden of unresolved guilt. When we're constantly judging ourselves, our bodies remain in a state of low-level stress. This can manifest as trouble sleeping, difficulty concentrating, feeling jumpy or on edge, or experiencing anxiety that seems to come from nowhere. Your nervous system is designed to help you respond to real dangers, but guilt creates a kind of internal danger that never goes away. The danger of your own self-criticism. What's particularly challenging about guilt's effect on the body is that it can create a cycle. Physical tension and discomfort can make us feel worse emotionally, which increases our guilt, which creates more physical tension. It becomes a loop that can feel impossible to break. But understanding this connection is actually the beginning of freedom, because it means that healing guilt isn't just a mental process. It's a whole body experience. When guilt lives in our bodies for extended periods, it can even affect our posture and how we move through the world. People carrying heavy guilt often walk with their heads down, their chests collapsed, their movements tentative and apologetic. It's as if they're trying to take up less space, to be less visible, to somehow disappear from the judgment they feel so intensely. But here's what's truly beautiful about this mind-body connection. Just as guilt affects your body, healing guilt can transform how you feel physically. When you begin to release old guilt patterns, people often report feeling lighter, standing taller, breathing more easily. Colors seem brighter, food tastes better, sleep becomes more restful. Your body wants to support your healing. It's been waiting for permission to let go of what no longer serves you. The energy aspect of guilt is equally important to understand. Everything is energy, including our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. When we hold on to guilt, we're essentially storing old, heavy energy in our system. This energy has a particular vibration that affects not only how we feel, but also what we attract into our lives. Guilt energy tends to draw more situations that confirm our unworthiness, creating a pattern of self-punishment that can span years or even decades. This stored emotional energy from guilt can become like static interference in our lives. It makes it harder to hear our intuition, harder to trust ourselves, harder to believe we deserve good things. It's like trying to listen to a beautiful song through a radio filled with static. The beauty is there, but it's obscured by the interference of old guilt patterns. Starting the process of releasing guilt requires tremendous gentleness with yourself. This isn't about forcing yourself to feel differently or demanding that years of patterns change overnight. Healing happens in its own time, and the most important thing you can do is create a safe, loving space for that healing to unfold. The first step is simply acknowledging what's there without trying to fix it, change it, or make it go away. This might feel counterintuitive because we're so used to fighting against uncomfortable feelings, but resistance to guilt often just creates more guilt. Instead, we can learn to witness our guilt with the same compassion we might show a hurt child. When guilt arises, try placing your hand on your heart and simply saying, "I see you, guilt. I know you're here, and that's okay." This isn't about welcoming guilt to stay forever, but rather about stopping the internal war that keeps us stuck. When we stop fighting against guilt, we often discover that it's not as solid or permanent as it seemed. Like clouds moving across the sky, feelings can shift and change when we give them space to breathe. Awareness is incredibly powerful. Many people live with guilt for so long that it becomes like background noise. They don't even realize how much it's affecting their daily experience. Simply beginning to notice when guilt arises, what triggers it, and how it feels in your body can be transformative. You might keep a gentle awareness throughout your day, noticing when that familiar heaviness appears, when your shoulders tense up, when that critical voice starts its familiar refrain. This awareness isn't about judging yourself for feeling guilty. That would just be more guilt about guilt. Instead, it's about becoming curious about your patterns. What situations tend to trigger guilt? What time of day does it feel strongest? What stories does your mind tell when guilt is present? This information becomes valuable data for your healing journey. As you develop this gentle awareness, you might also begin to notice that guilt often masks other feelings. Sometimes what we call guilt is actually grief, sadness about a relationship that ended, disappointment about a choice we made, or loss about who we might have been if things had gone differently. Sometimes guilt is covering anger that we don't feel safe expressing. Sometimes it's protecting us from feeling vulnerable or exposed. Creating space for these underlying feelings is part of the healing process. When we allow ourselves to feel sadness without calling it guilt, or anger without shame, we often find that the intensity diminishes naturally. Feelings want to move through us, not stay stuck in us, but they need permission and space to flow. Breathing is one of the most powerful tools for beginning to shift stuck energy. When guilt is present, our breathing often becomes shallow and restricted. By consciously returning to deep, full breaths, we send a message to our nervous system that it's safe to relax, safe to let go, safe to feel what's there without drowning in it. Try this gentle breathing practice. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose, allowing your belly to expand like a balloon. As you exhale through your mouth, let your belly gently fall. With each breath, let your body soften just a little more. This simple practice can help create space between you and your guilt, allowing you to observe it rather than be consumed by it. Mirror work is one of the most powerful healing practices, though it can feel challenging at first. Mirrors have this amazing ability to reflect back not just our physical appearance, but also our relationship with ourselves. When we look in the mirror while feeling guilty, we often see confirmation of our unworthiness. But mirrors can also become tools for transformation. Start small with mirror work. Look into your own eyes in the mirror and simply say, "Hello, beautiful soul." You don't have to believe it at first, just practice saying it. Notice what comes up. Does a critical voice start listing all the reasons you're not beautiful? Does sadness arise? Does it feel awkward or uncomfortable? All of these responses are perfectly normal and valuable information about your current relationship with yourself. As you become more comfortable with basic mirror work, you can begin to address the guilt directly. Look into your eyes and say something like, "I see that you're carrying some heavy feelings, and that's okay. You're learning, you're growing, and you're worthy of love exactly as you are." Again, you don't have to believe these words immediately. Think of them as seeds you're planting in the garden of your consciousness. Writing can be incredibly healing for guilt release. There's something about putting our thoughts and feelings on paper that helps externalize them, making them less overwhelming and more manageable. You might begin by writing a letter to your guilt, thanking it for trying to protect you, but letting it know that you're ready to find new ways of caring for yourself. Another powerful writing practice is to write letters to people you feel guilty about hurting. Not to send, but simply to express what's in your heart. Allow yourself to write without censoring, letting all the feelings flow onto the page. You might write multiple letters to the same person as different aspects of your feelings emerge. When you're finished, you can tear up the letters, burn them safely, or bury them in the earth, symbolically releasing the energy you've been carrying. Journaling can also help you dialogue with different parts of yourself. You might write a conversation between the part of you that feels guilty and the part of you that wants to heal. Let each part express itself fully without trying to rush to resolution. Often, the simple act of giving voice to these internal conflicts helps them begin to resolve naturally. Movement is medicine for guilt that's been stored in the body. Gentle stretching, walking in nature, dancing to music you love, or any form of movement that feels good to you can help shift stuck energy. The goal isn't intense exercise, but rather loving movement that honors your body's wisdom. Shaking is a particularly powerful practice for releasing stored trauma and guilt. Animals in the wild naturally shake after escaping from predators, allowing their nervous systems to discharge the stress energy. Humans can benefit from this same natural mechanism. Stand with your feet hip-width apart and begin to gently bounce up and down, letting the movement travel through your whole body. Add gentle shaking of your arms, shoulders, and head. Continue for a few minutes, then stand still and notice how you feel. Stretching your heart center can be especially helpful for guilt release. Try standing with your arms out to your sides, slowly lifting them overhead while taking a deep breath. As you exhale, gently arch backwards just a little, opening your chest toward the sky. This physical opening can create emotional opening as well. One of the most beautiful aspects of working with guilt is discovering that it can actually become a doorway to deeper love and compassion. This might sound surprising at first, especially when guilt feels so heavy and painful. But when we understand guilt differently, when we stop seeing it as evidence of our badness and start seeing it as information about our caring hearts, everything begins to shift. Guilt often arises because we care deeply about others and about doing the right thing. In many ways, feeling guilty can be a sign of your beautiful, sensitive heart. It shows that you have a conscience, that you want to contribute positively to the world, that you feel connected to others in meaningful ways. The problem isn't that you care. The problem is when that caring gets twisted into self-punishment. When we transform guilt into love, we're essentially taking the energy that was going into self-attack and redirecting it toward healing and growth. Instead of asking, "How could I have been so stupid?" we begin to ask, "What can I learn from this experience?" Instead of concluding, "I'm a terrible person," we start to explore, "How can I use this experience to become more compassionate, both toward myself and others?" This transformation often begins with recognizing that the part of you that feels guilty is often the same part that wants to love well. Your guilt about hurting someone's feelings shows that you value kindness. Your guilt about not being there for someone shows that you value connection and support. Your guilt about making a mistake shows that you value integrity and excellence. These are beautiful qualities that deserve to be honored, not punished. Consider how guilt might be trying to teach you something valuable. Perhaps it's showing you where your boundaries need to be stronger, or where you need to communicate more clearly, or where you need to ask for help instead of trying to do everything alone. Perhaps it's revealing unconscious patterns that no longer serve you, or highlighting areas where you need to develop more skills or understanding. When we approach guilt as a teacher rather than a judge, we can extract its wisdom without getting trapped in its punishment. We can ask ourselves questions like, what does this guilt want me to understand about my values? Or, how might this experience help me become more aligned with who I want to be? Or, what would love do in this situation moving forward? This shift from punishment to learning is profound. It moves us out of the past, where guilt likes to keep us trapped, and into the present moment, where growth and change are actually possible. It transforms us from victims of our mistakes into students of our experiences, capable of wisdom, change, and increasing alignment with our highest selves. Sometimes transforming guilt into love means making amends when that's appropriate and possible. This isn't about groveling or excessive apologies, but rather about clean, honest acknowledgement of impact and genuine efforts to repair harm when we can. Sometimes, though, the person we hurt is no longer in our lives, or making direct amends would cause more harm than healing. In these cases, we can transform our guilt into love by committing to being better, by using our experience to help others, or by dedicating ourselves to growth in honor of what we've learned. The alchemy of transforming guilt into love also involves developing a completely different relationship with imperfection. Instead of seeing mistakes as evidence of your unworthiness, you begin to see them as part of the beautiful, messy, utterly human process of learning how to love. Every person who has ever lived has made mistakes, has hurt others unintentionally, has fallen short of their own ideals. This isn't a flaw in the human design. It's how humans grow. When you truly embrace this truth, guilt begins to lose its power over you, not because you become careless or callous, but because you develop what I like to call loving accountability. You take responsibility for your actions and their impact, you make repairs when possible, you learn what you can, and then you release the story that your mistakes define your worth. This transformation often involves grieving the perfection you thought you needed to be. Many of us carry an unconscious belief that we should be able to navigate life without ever hurting anyone, disappointing anyone, or making significant mistakes. Releasing this impossible standard can feel like a loss at first, but it's actually a return to reality, where humans are beautifully imperfect beings learning how to love each other better all the time. Creating new, loving patterns in your life requires patience and consistency, like tending a garden that will bloom in its own perfect timing. The old guilt patterns didn't develop overnight, and the new loving patterns won't either. But every small choice you make towards self-compassion plants a seed that will eventually grow into something beautiful. One of the most powerful new patterns you can develop is the practice of self-forgiveness. This doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior or avoiding responsibility. True self-forgiveness is actually more challenging than self-punishment because it requires you to face your humanity honestly while choosing love anyway. It means saying, yes, I did that thing that caused harm, and I'm still worthy of love and capable of growth. Self-forgiveness is a daily practice, not a one-time event. Each morning, you might begin your day by placing your hand on your heart and offering yourself the gift of a fresh start. You can say something like, "Today I choose to be gentle with myself. I release yesterday's mistakes and embrace today's possibilities. I am learning, I am growing, and I am worthy of love." Developing boundaries is another crucial aspect of building loving patterns. Many people who struggle with excessive guilt have difficulty saying no, setting limits, or prioritizing their own needs. Learning to honor your own boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary for your well-being and actually makes you more capable of genuinely caring for others. Practice saying no to requests that don't align with your values, energy, or capacity. Start small, perhaps declining an invitation when you're genuinely tired or asking for help when you need it instead of struggling alone. Notice how guilt might arise when you honor your boundaries, and meet that guilt with compassion while continuing to take care of yourself. Creating new patterns also means developing what I call loving self-talk. Pay attention to the voice in your head throughout the day. When you notice the old critical voice starting its familiar commentary, gently interrupt it with something kinder. Instead of, "I can't believe I did that again," try, "I'm learning, and learning involves mistakes." Instead of, "I'm so stupid," try, "I'm human, and humans sometimes make choices they later regret." Building a support system is essential for maintaining new loving patterns. Surround yourself with people who see your worth even when you can't see it yourself. This might mean cultivating deeper friendships with people who practice self-compassion, joining groups focused on healing and growth, or working with a counselor or coach who can support your journey. Don't underestimate the power of your environment in supporting new patterns. Create spaces in your home that feel peaceful and nurturing. Fill your life with music, books, and activities that feed your soul rather than deplete it. Spend time in nature when possible, allowing the natural world to remind you of the cycles of growth, rest, and renewal that are part of all life. Developing a regular practice of gratitude can also help build new loving patterns. When we focus on what we appreciate about our lives, about ourselves, and about others, we naturally shift away from the scarcity mindset that often fuels guilt. Each evening, you might write down 3 things you're grateful for, including something you appreciate about yourself that day. Remember that building new patterns involves celebrating small victories. Every time you choose self-compassion over self-criticism, every time you honor your boundaries, every time you treat yourself with the kindness you'd show a dear friend, these are all victories worth acknowledging. Change happens through accumulation of small, loving choices rather than dramatic overnight transformations. As you continue to heal and grow, you'll find that guilt doesn't disappear completely from your life, and that's actually okay. Guilt can still arise as a natural response to recognizing when you've caused harm or acted out of alignment with your values. The difference is that now you know how to work with guilt skillfully rather than being overwhelmed by it. When guilt arises in the future, you'll have tools to meet it with wisdom rather than getting lost in its familiar spiral. You can pause and ask yourself, is this guilt giving me useful information about something I need to address? Or is this old programming trying to convince me I'm a bad person? You can use your breath to create space around the feeling, allowing you to respond rather than react. If the guilt is pointing to something that genuinely needs attention, perhaps you did hurt someone's feelings or acted in a way that doesn't align with your values, you can take appropriate action. You can apologize sincerely, make amends if possible, and commit to different choices moving forward. Then you can release the guilt, knowing you've responded responsibly to its message. If the guilt is old programming, familiar patterns trying to convince you of your unworthiness, you can recognize it as such and choose not to feed it with your attention and energy. You can remind yourself of the truth, that you are a good person learning how to love better, that mistakes don't define your worth, that growth is a lifelong process that requires patience and compassion. Building resilience means developing trust in your ability to handle whatever life brings, including your own imperfections. This trust grows stronger each time you choose self-compassion over self-attack, each time you learn from a mistake without drowning in shame, each time you forgive yourself and begin again. Part of maintaining your progress involves recognizing that healing isn't linear. There will be days when the old guilt patterns feel stronger, when the critical voice seems louder, when self-compassion feels difficult to access. These aren't signs that you're failing or going backwards. They're normal parts of the healing process. On these days, be extra gentle with yourself. Return to the basics. Breathe deeply. Speak kindly to yourself. Reach out for support if you need it. It can be helpful to create what I think of as a self-compassion emergency kit for challenging days. This might include a list of supportive friends you can call, nurturing activities that always help you feel better, affirmations that resonate deeply with you, or photos and mementos that remind you of your worth and the love that surrounds you. Remember that asking for help is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. Whether that's talking to a trusted friend, working with a counselor, joining a support group, or simply reaching out when you're struggling, connection with others who understand your journey can be profoundly healing. You don't have to walk this path alone. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want you to take a moment to acknowledge the courage it took to be here, to look at these tender places in your heart, to consider the possibility that you deserve to be free from the weight of guilt that you've been carrying. This kind of inner work isn't always easy, but it's some of the most important work you'll ever do. You came into this world as a perfect expression of love, and despite all the experiences that have convinced you otherwise, that truth hasn't changed. Every mistake you've made, every moment you feel guilty about, every way you've fallen short of your own expectations, none of these things have the power to diminish your essential worth. You are lovable not because you're perfect, but because love is your true nature. The journey of healing guilt and embracing self-love is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give yourself and the world. When you stop waging war against yourself, when you learn to treat yourself with the kindness and understanding you so freely give to others, you become a beacon of that same possibility for everyone around you. Your healing ripples out in ways you may never fully know. As you move forward from this moment, remember that every day offers you new opportunities to practice love, especially love toward yourself. You don't have to be perfect at this. You don't have to transform overnight. You just have to be willing to keep choosing love, one moment at a time, one breath at a time, one gentle thought at a time. Take with you this knowing: you are worthy of forgiveness, you are capable of growth, and you are deeply, utterly deserving of love. Your mistakes do not define you. Your past does not imprison you. Your heart knows the way home to wholeness, and it has been patiently waiting for you to listen. Trust yourself. Be patient with yourself. Love yourself. The world needs the gift of who you become when you're free from the burden of guilt and living from the truth of your beautiful, worthwhile, perfectly imperfect self. You've got this, dear one. You've always had this. Now you're simply remembering what was true all along. There are moments in life when the weight we carry inside feels heavier than anything we hold in our hands. Sometimes this weight is not made of objects, but of memories, words, or experiences that live quietly in our hearts. They sit there, not because we wish them to, but because somewhere along the way, we didn't know how to set them down. The human heart is soft. yet it holds on so tightly when it has been hurt. There is a tenderness in acknowledging this. It's not a weakness, it's a part of being alive. And yet there comes a gentle whisper inside that says, "You can let this go now." That whisper is not rushing you, it is not forcing you. It is an invitation to breathe again without the tightness that pain leaves behind. It can feel comforting in a strange way to keep the familiar weight close because it is what we know. Even when it causes hurt, it is still familiar. And sometimes the unknown, the idea of life without this hurt, feels like stepping into a space we cannot yet imagine. But the truth is, the moment we take that first step, a new kind of light begins to appear. It is the light of possibility, the light of our own freedom. Letting go is not about forgetting what happened. It is about deciding that it no longer has the right to live in your body, in your thoughts, and in your days. It is about creating space for something kinder to grow in its place. When we hold on to hurt, our bodies know it. Our shoulders may feel tense, our breath may grow shallow, and our sleep may become restless. The body speaks through discomfort, asking for release. Our minds replay the same images and words over and over, as though turning them around might change the past. But the past is not where our power is. Our power is here, in this moment, where we can choose a different thought, a softer feeling, a deeper breath. That choice, small as it may seem, begins the healing. The reason we hold on so long is not because we enjoy the pain. Often, it is because we feel that letting go might mean we are letting someone win or letting a wrong go unrecognized. But letting go is not about them. It is about us. It is about giving our hearts a home that is peaceful. It is about choosing to be free, even if the past remains unchanged. You can carry the lesson without carrying the wound. You can honor what you learned without dragging the hurt along with you. Inner freedom is not a distant dream. It is not something reserved for a chosen few. It is a birthright. It is a state of being where you can breathe deeply without feeling the pull of old chains. It is when your heart feels light and your mind no longer circles the same old story. Freedom is not just the absence of pain, it is the presence of peace. It is the way you feel when you are not waiting for the past to be different, when you are not expecting tomorrow to carry the same shadows. Think for a moment about what freedom would feel like inside your body. Maybe it is the release of tension in your neck and shoulders. Maybe it is the ease of breathing without a knot in your chest. Maybe it is waking up in the morning and feeling your first thought be one of hope instead of dread. That feeling is not imaginary. It is the natural state of your spirit when you are no longer bound by what hurt you. The heart is made to heal. The mind is made to learn and move forward. The soul is made to grow. Letting go is not an erasure of what has been. It is a shift in how we hold it. Pain that is held close hardens us, but pain that is acknowledged and then released becomes wisdom. That wisdom can live quietly inside us without poisoning our days. It becomes a teacher, not a jailer. Every time we release something that no longer serves us, we make more room for love, joy, and creativity to enter. The more space we make, the more life can pour into us. There is a soft power in the decision to release. It is not loud or dramatic. It is gentle, like loosening your grip on a rope you have been holding for far too long. At first, your hands may feel strange without it. They may even ache. But soon, you realize they are free to hold other things. things that bring you warmth and meaning. The space inside you that was once crowded with hurt becomes open for laughter, for gratitude, for moments of stillness that feel safe. The mind and body are deeply connected in this process. When we carry hurt, it shapes the way we stand, the way we breathe, and even the way we see the world. Releasing it is not only an emotional act, but a physical one. You can help yourself along by breathing deeply, stretching gently, and speaking words of kindness to yourself. The body listens. The cells listen. Now it's safe to heal. When you begin to taste that inner freedom, even for a moment, something changes. You realize that you are not your pain, you are not your past. You are a living, breathing soul with the ability to choose peace over and over again. And with every choice, that peace grows stronger. It becomes your new normal. And one day you look back and realize that the weight you thought you could never live without has quietly fallen away. You are lighter, freer, and more yourself than ever before. There comes a moment when the heart begins to feel the difference between holding on to pain and holding on to possibility. Pain feels tight, heavy, and unyielding. Possibility feels open, expansive, and alive. Shifting from one to the other is not about pretending the hurt never happened. It is about gently guiding your focus toward what can grow from this moment forward. The shift begins when you realize that you deserve a life that is more than just surviving. You deserve a life where joy can take root again. Releasing pain is not an act of weakness. It is the purest act of self-love. It is looking at yourself with kindness and saying, I no longer want to live in the shadow of what hurt me. You can honor your story without living in it forever. Every hurt you have carried has shaped you, but it does not define you. When you release, you are not discarding your past. You are transforming it into something that can nourish you rather than drain you. Think of a garden that has been left untended for too long. Weeds may have grown wild, crowding out the flowers. The soil may feel hard and dry. At first, clearing the weeds feels like hard work, and the garden looks bare. But in that cleared space, the sunlight reaches the soil again. New seeds can be planted. This is what happens inside you when you let go of hurt. You make space for light, for warmth, for something beautiful to grow. Sometimes we hesitate to let go because the pain has been part of our identity for so long. Without it, we may wonder who we are. But the truth is, we are so much more than our wounds. Beneath the hurt, there is a self that is whole and unbroken, a self that has always been there, patiently waiting for us to return. When we release, we are not losing who we are uncovering it. You can begin this shift with a simple daily practice. Each morning, place your hand over your heart and take a slow, deep breath. As you exhale, imagine the breath carrying away a little bit of the heaviness you have been holding. With each breath, you are teaching your body that it is safe to loosen its grip on the past. Over time, those small breaths create a powerful change. They make it easier to choose peace in moments when the old hurt tries to return. The act of letting go becomes even more powerful when we make it tangible. You might write down the thoughts or memories that have been weighing you down and place the paper somewhere safe. Then later release it, tear it, burn it, or bury it in the ground as a symbol that it no longer owns you. This simple act can feel like setting down a burden you have carried far too long. You are telling your mind and heart, this chapter is complete. I am ready for the next. The process does not need to be dramatic or rushed. It is a gentle loosening, a choice you make again and again until one day the grip is gone. And when that happens, you notice a lightness inside, a space where there used to be pain. That space is precious. It is yours to fill with things that lift you: laughter, kindness, creativity, and peace. There is a beautiful release that happens when we give ourselves permission to let go. It feels like opening a window after a long winter and letting fresh air fill the room. The stale heaviness begins to lift, replaced by something new and clean. The heart responds instantly to this change. It beats a little lighter, it trusts a little more, and it starts to believe in joy again. If you are ready to step into this space, you can help yourself with a simple exercise. Close your eyes and breathe into your heart space. Picture the hurt as a small, heavy object you have been carrying. See yourself placing it into a warm, glowing light, a light that is soft yet powerful. Watch as the light surrounds it, dissolves it, or carries it away. Feel the relief in your body as that weight disappears. Let yourself linger in this feeling, noticing how much more room there is inside you for something loving to take its place. To keep your heart moving in this new direction, you can speak gentle words to yourself each day. Words are powerful. They plant seeds in the mind. You might say, "I choose peace over pain. I release the past with love. I am free to create my life now." These affirmations are not magic spells. They are reminders. They guide your mind back to the truth you are building for yourself. The more you repeat them, the more they become part of your natural thoughts. When you speak words of release, your body responds, your breath deepens, your shoulders soften, the tightness in your chest begins to ease. This is the mind-body connection at work. What you think and say shapes how you feel physically. By practicing release through thought and word, you are training both your mind and your body to live in freedom rather than tension. There is also a great power in moving your body as part of this process. A gentle walk, stretching your arms wide as if embracing the sky, or even placing your hand on your heart and feeling it beat. These small actions tell your body, "I am safe. I am here. I am ready to be free." The body remembers the feeling of openness, and it becomes easier to return to it. Letting go is not the end. It is the beginning of something far greater. When the space inside you is no longer crowded by hurt, there is room for joy to flow in. Gratitude begins to rise naturally. You start noticing beauty in places you once overlooked. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of your own laughter, the feeling of ease in a quiet moment. These are the signs that healing is taking root. And as that healing grows, it becomes your new way of living, peaceful, open, and free. When you begin to release, even in small ways, you will notice a natural shift. It is not enough to simply clear away the heaviness. You must also fill the open space with something nourishing. When the heart is emptied of hurt, it is like a clean, fresh room waiting for light and warmth. If you do not consciously welcome something good into that space, old patterns may try to move back in. This is why it is so important to invite love, joy, and gratitude to take the place of what you have released. Gratitude is one of the most beautiful ways to fill your heart again. It does not have to be for grand events or perfect days. It can be for the smallest moments, the comfort of a warm cup of tea, the sound of gentle rain, the feeling of clean sheets, the kindness in a smile. Each time you notice something to be grateful for, you are telling your heart, there is goodness in my world, and I choose to see it. This choice builds a new habit, one that keeps your inner space filled with light. You can also fill your heart through acts of self-care and creativity. Doing something you enjoy, even for a short time each day, tells your mind and body that they matter. A walk in nature, journaling your thoughts, listening to music that lifts you. These are not luxuries. They are essential ways of caring for your spirit. When you nurture yourself, you send the message that your peace is worth protecting. The mind-body connection continues to be a gentle guide in this stage. The body responds to what the mind focuses on. If your thoughts are filled with appreciation and kindness, your body will naturally relax and renew itself. Your breath becomes deeper, your energy steadier, and your sleep more restful. You begin to live in harmony with yourself, where your thoughts, emotions, and physical well-being support one another instead of working against each other. As you fill your heart with love and gratitude, you begin to notice how much easier it is to keep your freedom. Hurt may still appear in life. It is part of being human, but it no longer finds a permanent home in you. You learn to notice it, breathe through it, and let it pass, just as clouds drift across the sky without changing the sun beneath them. This is how ongoing freedom feels. Living in this freedom means becoming gentle with yourself every single day. You may choose to create little daily rituals that help you stay grounded, speaking a loving affirmation in the morning, placing your hand over your heart when you need comfort, or ending the day by recalling 3 things that made you smile. These rituals are not complicated. Their power comes from repetition. They become anchors for your peace. It is also important to be aware when new hurts try to settle in. By noticing them early, you can choose not to let them grow roots. This is not about ignoring emotions. It is about meeting them with understanding, then guiding them out before they become heavy. When you see yourself as the guardian of your inner peace, you begin to treat your heart as a precious garden, pulling weeds gently and protecting what you have grown. You might find it helpful to carry a few affirmations with you, ready to call upon whenever you need them. Words like, I am light, I am free, I am whole, or every breath I take fills me with peace, can return you to the present moment. Speaking them softly to yourself can be like a hand reaching out in the dark, reminding you that you are safe and supported. Over time, you realize that letting go was not just about removing pain. It was about uncovering the life that was waiting for you all along. The life where your heart feels open, your mind feels clear, and your body feels at ease. This is your natural state, the one you were always meant to live in. And so, as you stand here now, breathing in this moment, let it be known that you have the power to choose peace again and again. You are not defined by the hurts you have released. You are defined by the love you allow in. Every time you choose to fill your heart with light instead of pain, you are choosing a life of freedom. This freedom is yours. It always has been. And with each gentle choice, it becomes the foundation on which the rest of your life is built. You can walk forward knowing that you are strong enough to release what does not serve you, wise enough to protect your peace, and open enough to welcome joy in all its forms. This is not the end of your journey. It is a beautiful new beginning where each day offers another chance to live in the fullness of your own light. And as you breathe deeply now, feel the truth of these words settling into your heart. You are light, you are free, you are whole.